Hey guys, I'm Valentine Holmes from the St. George Illawarra Dragons. We're talking about culture, family and my upbringing, and this is on Marlee and Me.
Now, how long have you and your wife been together? You said that she's from Townsville as well. Did you meet as kids?
Yeah, been dating since high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess in Townsville there's not many options, so I try to get in quick, and yeah, we still stayed together. So
you might not after you just said that.
Maybe we'll cut that.
No. Today we sit down with Dragon star Valentine Holmes. Val is one of the NRL's most dynamic and versatile players. Born in Townsville with Cook Islander heritage, he made his mark early with the Cronulla Sharks, playing a key role in their historic 2016 premiership win. Known for his speed, skill and game-changing ability, Val has represented Queensland and Australia at the highest level. His journey also took him over to the US when he pursued an NFL dream before returning to the NRL. Now a leader on and off the field, he continues to inspire with his passion and dedication for the game. But even Val himself admitted he doesn't usually sit down for conversations like this. He said he was worried to me he didn't have much of a story to tell. But as soon as he started to open up, started to tell me about how close his family is, what a unit they are, and how key they have been in his journey through the NRL, it was clear there's a really important story to tell here, especially at a moment when he was just 1 year into his time with the Cronulla Sharks, when he'd packed his bags, ready to go home and give it all up. And a phone call with his brother changed the course of his journey. Today's episode was recorded on the lands of the Darawal people. We pay our respects to their elders, past and present, who have been connected to this country and cared for it for over 60,000 years. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Valentine Holmes, thank you for making the time. I was saying to you before we started recording that I don't think I've seen you do too many podcasts and the like, but how do you feel about being here with a mic in hand?
Yeah, it's a bit close and personal. I can see why you probably get a bit deep in here, but no, excited to see how it goes and see what you get out of me.
Yeah, I mean, literally today we're in a little bit of a small room, so it can feel even more intense, I guess. But yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to hearing a bit of your story. And I want to start with thinking about the concept of home. So if I say that word, I know you've moved around a bit through your career, but where is the most home feeling that you get?
I would say it would have to be Townsville. I was born and raised in Townsville. Mum and Dad are still up there. Obviously played all my junior footy, went to school, all up there, graduated high school, and that's when I made the move down to Cronulla. But when you think of home, I think of Townsville and all my mates, all my friends, all my family. My wife's from there and she grew up there, born and raised there as well, and we had our first little kid there. So I think that's when you mention home, that's what I think of. Yeah,
it's so much of your milestones in your life there.
Yeah, yep.
So take me back to a little boy, Valentine Holmes, who's growing up there. Imagine like a morning before school. What's happening in the house? Who's there? What does it feel like?
It was a busy household. I'm one of five. I'm the youngest, so I got all the hand-me-downs of everything, literally like school uniform, bags, like everything. So, we all had our bikes. I'd ride to school, which I loved. Ride past the skate park on the way and go down the half pipe here and there before I rock up late to school. But that was the daily routine, and I just really enjoyed being outdoors. I was always outdoors with my mates. I didn't really enjoy school too much. I wasn't really a school kid. I only liked going to see my mates and to do PE. So, but I felt like I did all right past school, and I think I'm doing all right now. So.
Yeah, I reckon every footy player says they just liked PE and recess with their mates.
Yeah, I think so.
But so you're the baby of 5 siblings. Like, I've only got one sister. I can't imagine like what that's like. It's having half a footy team in your own siblings and the like. But how do you think they describe you?
Very competitive, I think. Probably because I was the youngest, I guess. Cheeky. probably a smart ass, but that's just to them, I think.
So tell me what your mum and dad are like then.
They're very quiet, very old school. My mum's Cook Island. She's born and raised in Cook Island, so then she moved to New Zealand to grow up. She's one of 12, so
Wow.
she has a big family, so she couldn't really. She had to move quite young to New Zealand to, start her life. And my dad was born in New Zealand. They both moved over. Obviously, when my second oldest brother was born.
Mm-hmm.
So, but they're just very, very chilled, very relaxed. Got us all into little athletics when we were younger. Got us into sports. And I pretty much just followed my oldest brother's footsteps. And he played footy, he played rugby league. I just wanted to be like him, and Dad let me do that.
What do you think are some of the lessons that they taught you guys as you were growing up that you maybe didn't appreciate back then, but you kind of feel are even more important these days?
I think one thing that really sticks with me is what my dad has always told me when I was younger playing footy is to always play your game, like every game, like it's your last. And that's really stuck with me because when I was younger, I felt like I was, probably the best player in the team or in my age group, but I never really made, rep teams or anything like that. And he always used to mention, say that obviously his son, he wants me to think I'm the best player and this and that. So he always gave me a lot of confidence that way. And it took me to move to, a bigger city in Cronulla and Sydney to, I guess, really put my, name forward and myself forward to make a career out of footy. But yeah, I couldn't make any reps. I was just making the local Townsville team and the school team. But yeah, I just kept fighting. That's what my dad kind of, taught me how to do, and took me to training and did everything for me to get to this level. So if it wasn't with him and my brother, yeah.
Yeah. So when you say he was saying play every game like it's your last, do you think you still carry that today as a go out there and leave it all on the line?
Yeah, that's pretty much what I think he was trying to say is because he played a little bit of rugby union, but he always, as old parents say, that it would have been the best. I was like, I'd like to see your highlights and stuff like that. But he was pretty much just saying, don't leave. What's the saying? Don't leave any stone unturned, or just leave it all out there. And if you do all that, you put your best foot forward, and your teammates will enjoy playing alongside you and all that. So I've always been someone who has wanted to be, someone another player's enjoyed playing alongside. So every time I play, I try and leave it all out there, and always obviously try and win and be competitive.
How do you think that's impacted what you've achieved in your career so far then?
I definitely think it's motivated me and helped me to be where I am today. I've been very fortunate to play in a lot of some pretty cool teams, played alongside of my idols as a kid growing up, and been coached by some. So I feel like I'm very, very lucky, and I just feel lucky and blessed to be. Obviously, as a kid from Townsville, you wouldn't really kind of think of, where you're going to be in, 10, 15 years. So to look back on it, I guess, and I'm not saying I'm done yet, but to look back on where I am now, it's pretty special.
Yeah. As we were saying, we're both turning 30 this year. That's not old, all right? We can't.
It's a new 20.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a new 20.
But hearing you say that quote from your dad, have you ever told him that you think about that still?
I haven't actually. I probably should mention it back to him. Yeah, he'd be like, see, you wouldn't have done that without me. Something like that. He always would say something like that. But I probably should. Definitely.
Yeah. I think, you're a father now yourself, and there'll be little quotes that you pass on to your sons too. And I know that I never think about letting my parents know the impact that they've had until I've probably said it publicly or something.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you think he would feel other than going, see, I was right? How do you think he would feel, about what you've done and the impact he's had on it?
He would probably think that's not the reason why I've had the career I've had. He would probably just think that I've just done it myself, and as in by just training hard and I guess just turning up to each game, each training session, putting it all out there and leaving it all out there. So, and I've always just done that, just obviously because of him and my brother. So, but yeah, if I had to do that for my son, I probably wouldn't be. I feel like I'd be a harder dad on him, but I don't want to be. I want to be kind of just like my dad, where he let me kind of just make the choices and train. He didn't really push me too hard to like do extras on the field or do extra kicking or any of that. It was just I do it, do what the coach. He pretty much just said, just do what the coaches say. No more extra training, and he took me everywhere, but he didn't want to overdo it where you can get a bit, I guess, over footy if you get doing too much of it.
Yeah.
So I want to try and be good like that.
So you think that you could have the tendency to go
a bit much?
Yeah, really?
Yeah, definitely. Only because of who I am.
Yeah.
Which I'm already seeing it now. I'm taking him to like little soccer lessons. He's only 3, but like taking him just to these soccer clinic things where he goes for like half an hour, and I'm wanting him to like kick it really hard, kick it in the back of the net every time, never miss. And I can see myself, I'm like, I need to pull it back a bit. Just relax, let him just learn from the coaches and his friends and that first.
That's so funny that you can see that, and he's only 3.
Yeah.
Do you think in that sense, is your mum more like that? Is that where you're getting more of that, or is that just your competitive nature?
I reckon my mum probably is more competitive than my dad. She actually played softball for a while, like even as a later while we were kids coming through. So she never really talks about her like younger ages though, like when she was at school or growing up, like in sport wise. But I can definitely see my dad is very relaxed, just loves chilling on the couch watching all the footy, watching All Blacks, watching me play, watching cricket, or just watch all types of sports.
Yeah.
So where mum would probably be the more competitive one.
So you said your mum's Cook Islander. What role, or what's your understanding of that part of your culture? How did it play a part as you were growing up?
Yeah, I didn't. I guess when we were kids, so in like North Queensland and Townsville, it's a pretty multicultural town. So every October, I'm pretty sure it was in October, it was called the Cultural Fest. And it'd be all different cultures that come and perform. You'd have your food stalls, your performances on the big stage, and we'd enter that every year. So we'd all do our traditional Cook Island dances. Mum would have her food stall going. She'd sell like her, would have clothing, would have Islander dresses that she'd make. So it started at a young age, but that was just more so learning the dances and trying to learn a bit about the culture. I didn't really probably take it in as much as I probably should have at that time. I didn't really want to dance because I was a pretty shy kid. I didn't want to obviously be on stage in front of a lot of people wearing a dress, and all my friends come and see me from school and probably laugh at me. But that's what I'm thinking through my mind, where they're probably not. They're probably actually like, oh, that's cool that he can do that. So, but now I understand my culture a lot more. I've been back to Cook Islands a few times and can really see how passionate they are of their country, of their heritage, and seeing their Cook Island players, a lot of Cook Island players in the league and doing well. And so a lot of my family have really reached out from there who I haven't even met, have reached out to mum and are saying that they're really proud, and it's pretty special.
What did it feel like to go back to the Cook Islands? And I mean, were you hesitant because of some of the stuff that you had not embraced as much as a kid?
Yeah, well, luckily the first time I went back was for a wedding and my whole family came. So, like all my mum's family, and they obviously know the area well and know the islands well. So it wasn't too bad. They were obviously very excited to meet me and to show me around. And a lot of young kids are out there, obviously massive rugby league fans and Queenslander fans. I must say they're all Queenslanders. So we pretty much got all of Cook Islands into Maroons, so that's pretty cool. But now, I do want to try and go back once a year and not do clinics or anything, but just give back. I guess take back some knowledge I have and give it to those young boys and girls coming through, and obviously take back some gears as well from all the teams I've played, and I've always kept a bit of everything from everyone I've played in. So, but yeah, it's more so just trying to give back and see the little kids thrive.
I feel like not many people would know too much about Cook Islander culture. I think, especially in a rugby league context, we talk a lot about Indigenous culture or Māori, but what do you think are some of the values or the elements of your culture as you've learnt it that you think people should know?
It's probably similar to like, say, Tonga and Samoa and the smaller island nations. They're just very family orientated, family based. Obviously love their food, love their raw fish, the taro and all that. So it's a very, just family bonded, do everything together, a lot of big feasts together. Obviously there's, not too much to do in the smaller islands, so that's probably how it all comes about, and you get the cool island night dances. It's hard to kind of explain. That's from what I've gathered. But yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's what Mum would probably say.
Yeah. Oh, and you mentioned your mum's one of 12 and thinking about being family orientated and the like. Is that something that you're trying to take in? Well, is that what you've experienced growing up as well with your immediate family, and then what you want to take as a father now into your own family?
Yeah. Well, it was unfortunate for their family because obviously with 12 and the age difference were, obviously quite big from the youngest to the oldest. They all had to be split up from Cook Islands to New Zealand. Obviously, their parents couldn't, feed 12 of them, so they had to go through the aunties and uncles, and we really shared around. So they didn't have the same upbringing as what we did, where we got to grow up all together as one family. But she hasn't really spoken about it that it was tough or anything like that. It's just what it was. It's just what the normal thing was. It was them given a better opportunity in New Zealand and to be successful, and I guess just more of an opportunity rather than in the islands, because back when she was a kid, it wouldn't be much there than what there is now. It's definitely thriving now, and it's going really well.
I think I've seen you speak about your mum and particularly how she looks after your sister. Am I right in saying she was a full-time carer? Can you tell me a bit about your sister as well?
Yeah. So Dad was in the mines when we were a bit younger, so he flew out. He lived pretty much in South Australia most of the time. He was 4 weeks on, 1 week off. So he was away most of the time, and Mum did the full caring of all of us and my sister. She has Down syndrome, and it was pretty tough on my mum and dad. Me being the youngest, I probably didn't see it. What they had to, do for not only us boys, but her as well. And she had to go to a different school, obviously learn a bit different, and be looked after obviously a bit more than what us boys would have had to been. But I feel like she's done, they've both done a really good job, and she seems happy now. She's doing well, and she's obviously another reason why where I am today is because of her. I do a lot of my stuff for her too.
When you say that, what do you mean? Is it
just my motivation, I guess, is this word. Just ever since I was a kid playing school footy, it'd be her and Mum and Dad coming to watch me play every game, and it's just something I've kept through going through 20s, New South Wales Cup, NRL, and then to rep sides. It's she's always been there. Not to every game, obviously, because I've been down here and they've been back home, but watching every game. When I was in Townsville, I was very lucky. She came to every single game, which was cool. Because to play in the NRL is one thing, but then to have your mum and dad and your sister and your family to come to every game and to watch you live rather than on TV is another thing. And she's obviously been to a couple of my Origin games and stuff like that. But so I play for a lot for my family.
And what does your sister say after a game, good or bad? What does she tell you?
She's very honest. But most of the time it's good. She's got her whole room just covered in newspaper articles or photos or team photos of myself, and even there's a lot of the other Cowboys players like Drinky, Hesse, Tommy Dearden. She loves all the boys, and she just really enjoys watching me play, which is special.
Hearing you just talk about all your immediate family and how much you mean to them and what you're doing, like, is pretty amazing. Like, how does that help you in your career? And again, as you've made a big move back down here and whatever, like, how does that impact that?
Yeah. Obviously, the decision to move back away and come back down was pretty tough, not only on myself but for my wife as well, with her family there, and we've just created and started our own family, and would have been nice to, I guess, finish up at home, didn't have to move again, and then because we probably will end up going back to Townsville, and but they were all okay with it. I'll still bring them down and get them to a few more games, and when we play up there, I'm sure it'll be a big day or big weekend for my family and hers. So yeah, it was tough. I had to take a lot into the fact that we were going to be moving away for a few years, but in the long term of life, we always knew it was just going to be a short period of life, and I needed to do what was best for myself and my family, and they obviously understood that. Sister probably wasn't as happy as she would have showed, but makes it more special when I go back and see her, I guess. Yeah,
for sure. I want to go to now the first time you moved down here to chase that rugby league dream. If you think back to who you were at that point, like, I mean, that's a big change. How did you feel when you were first taking that leap, and what were some of the biggest lessons that you learned about yourself?
I had a few emotions. I was pretty excited. I had never been to Sydney before. So I literally just graduated high school, didn't go to schoolies. So I got on the plane the next day and, came down and started training. I was excited, a bit nervous, obviously leaving family and my friends, and but that's all I kind of had going for me. I didn't do the, in Queensland they call it OP. I didn't do the OP pathway, the university pathway. I honestly don't know what I would have been doing if I didn't make footy, so kind of glad it worked out. But it's it was just a big step, I guess. But a year in, I got very homesick. Or probably not even years, probably 9 months, and I had my bags packed, ready to go at the front door, and then my brother ended up calling me, and his wife ended up calling me, saying that they were going to move down to give me the support of family down here, and because I was actually living with New in the Shark House at the time, and as much as I loved it there, it was probably like 8 of us boys there. We had like our own parents that would make us dinner and brekkie lunches and dinner and get us to and fro from training, and like it was probably the dream. Like no one would ask for, but one thing I'd miss more so was just my family and my friends from back home and from school, and didn't really think about how important this kind of like what I was doing was for me, and I could set myself up, and so I got the phone call that they were going to move down and be that rock for me, I guess.
Wow.
The connection from my family down here was pretty special, and I needed that, and it probably really helped me, I guess. Yeah.
Wow, so your brother and his wife moved their whole lives down here to be here for you?
Yep. Yeah, they just pretty much gave up. Obviously gave up everything. I don't know what they were doing at the time for work, but obviously they didn't really care. I don't even think they had work organised down here. They just probably knew that they could do something at the time down here and find some work to help me out. But that was probably the turning point for me, I think.
That's crazy. Like, that's so beautiful to like believe in you so much and want to make that sacrifice because they wanted you to
and I hadn't even done anything. I had just finished playing SG ball, started to play 20s, so it's not like I was had a first grade contract or anything. It was just I guess they just really wanted it for me. Probably did, like you said, believe in me, and it definitely worked out. They moved down and they enjoyed it. They loved it down here as well. And still to this day I reckon that was probably the turning point that got me to where I am. So like I said, I've been very lucky just with my family and really helped me along the way. Wow.
I think that to just hear this whole first part of your story, like the strength of your family is pretty incredible. So am I right in saying that this is the brother that you said that you always wanted to be like?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Edric.
Yeah. And so how long were he and his wife down here with you?
so they ended up just moving down, and they stayed down for good. I lived with them. So that was at the end of 2013.
Yeah.
We moved in. We just got a little 2-bed unit. And then 2014 came. I was playing 20s, stuff that happened with Sharks.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of players end up getting suspended and stuff. And then I was fortunate enough to make my debut, and I guess that's just kind of where it went. I mean, if I went home that day, I don't think I would have been. I mean, who knows? Here I am saying I probably could have played for the Cowboys back then, but I probably also could have done something else, and I could be just working another job. So I reckon what they did was probably second best
The
thing.
journey would have looked very different if you'd gone back home then. That's amazing.
Definitely.
Now, how long have you and your wife been together? You said that she's from Townsville as well. Did you meet as kids?
Yeah, been dating since high school.
Wow.
So year 10.
So you kind of grew up together.
Yeah.
Tell me about your wife.
Yeah, she's 1 year younger than me. So I went we went to co-ed schools. I finished off at an all-boys school. She went to the sister school of that. And I guess in Townsville there's not many options. So I try to get in quick. We still stayed together. So
you might not after you just said that.
Maybe we'll cut that.
No. But I mean, that speaks to the strength of your relationship to be together.
As soon as I had seen her when we were at school, it was at a school disco actually, and I felt like that was just where it started and who I wanted to be with, and obviously never thought it'd get this far. But it's pretty cool that because their parents have done the same thing. They've been since exactly the same year 10 as well. So,
wow.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
Well, thinking about that period of time, you have, done the big move here, gone back. You also spent time in the States. There's been a lot of moving around and a lot of sacrifice. And I think sometimes we as the public forget about how much sacrifice that is for your guys' partners as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that been like for her?
Yeah, she was obviously very sad when I left for that first year as well because she was still in school. She was finishing off year 12, and that's another thing why obviously I was homesick. I wanted to get back, and then when my brother had moved down, she had finished school. She had then made the move down to move in with us and live with me and my brother and his wife, and she's obviously been my rock for where I am today, which is probably why I guess I can say the career I've had is because I've had a stability in my life with my family and my wife. Being there, just having the same faces around me all the time, and keeping me, where my feet are, keeping my head where my feet is. I like to kind of say that I'm doing a lot better than I am, but they keep me grounded and something to always revert back to if I am going well, if I am doing good things, which is obviously what you need.
In the public-facing life that you live, there's always ups and downs. There's always the nice things people are saying about you. There's always the tough times. And, your career hasn't been immune to the tougher times as well. How do you deal with that? And how does that support network, do just that, support you?
Yeah. Well, it took me a long time to, I guess, realise what, limelight you're in any professional sport, not just rugby league, but there's a lot of eyes on you, and obviously that's what you sign up for. You're on TV almost every weekend, spoken about as a team and individual. The goods and bads, they all come with it. When the goods come, you're liking them. When the bads, it's not the best time to be on your phone or be looking around. So, but yeah, obviously she's been, and my family, she's been really behind me and stuck with me through everything I've been through, good and bad. And as they all do, a lot of people go through some tough times and struggle in areas that they probably wish they could, take back. But I guess that's what makes you who you are. You live from that and live through that, and you learn from it. And I guess it makes you more of a human being because you're making mistakes, and not everyone's perfect. And I know I'm certainly not, and I've made a lot of mistakes. And done a lot of good things as well. So I like to say I'm just a complete human.
And I like that, a complete human, the good and the bad sort of in one. But you don't get that perspective overnight.
Yeah.
Right? Like the first time that you face that tough moment in the public eye, I can only imagine like how much of a gut punch that must be. Like, how did you learn to get that perspective you're talking about?
Well, a lot of it, I guess, a lot of people had family and my managers and my wife and wife's family, like they all knew it was just uncharacteristic. Because I've actually probably done it a couple of times where I've, probably been in the bad limelight. And they just knew it wasn't me, and that's just, I guess, what you do for your living, and you're going to get tempted in certain ways and do certain things, obviously, that you probably don't like. So to get through that is what you need, that stable and that, I guess, that base. And to have that from my family and my partner is, I guess that's what really, really helps. I mean, if I was, I guess, single at the time and didn't have a family that supported me as well as I did, who knows what could have happened. I probably could have fell down a trap and gone even further, or, decided to give it up, or maybe it got too hard and, didn't see the horizon. So, yeah, it definitely helped me.
Yeah. And were those conversations, like, did it see you sitting down with your partner to kind of talk it out, or did she have to come to you? Like, because you kind of said you're always like, oh, I'm okay, but obviously she could see through that, right?
Yeah, definitely. She had to come to me, really. I don't like confrontation. I don't like hard talks. So, and she's all for that. So it was, obviously because it's hurt her as well. But yeah, it was tough talks, but good talks. I need to grow up and really see what I'm doing, because I'm, there's a lot of obviously young kids and even just, I guess, kids coming through the NRL now are probably looking up to me and seeing the standards I'm trying to set, and I guess the bad ones aren't bad and the good ones are good. So trying to give more good ones for the younger kids is, especially now having kids, it's definitely, like I said, want to be a good, I guess, idol or hero for my boys.
Well, on that note, what advice would you give to those younger players coming through that maybe remind you of yourself?
Oh, as much as I'd like to say, don't make silly mistakes, but I guess like I said, everyone's human. You're probably going to make it, but just to own it, I guess. Have a good network and support around you, and the main thing I'd say is just own it and have the talks. With your family, they're probably tough. Don't come around. Especially if you're going well, that I come around too often, the tough talks, and really learn from it, I think.
Yeah. Through that journey to become a complete human, as you've described it, there's also been some pretty amazing highs, some pretty great moments. What moments make you the proudest so far?
For my wife, I'll say to have my kid, my first boy. That was actually, it was pretty special. I guess you always hear stories and you see your older friends and your brothers, having kids and, being an uncle. But, to have your own, it's obviously a big responsibility and a life-changing thing. So that would be probably the top of it. Obviously making the grand final for Cronulla was a pretty big high in my life. I was only 21 at the time, and that's probably what I was talking about, saying I was doing everything, thinking I was the best, and then obviously making reps and playing with a lot of my idols who I grew up, watching week in, week out on TV. So, like I said, I feel like I've been in a really blessed and lucky career, and I can say it came down to working hard and training hard and playing well, but I just feel like I've been, very lucky.
Yeah. Those are the moments you want your son to bring up in the playground when he's going, my dad used to play footy.
I think so. Yeah, that'd be nice. Well, by then, there's probably these young kids out there that have way better highlights than what I do. So he'll be like, oh, I like this young guy, like a Reece Walsh. He'll be like, oh, don't worry about my dad. Look at this kid.
Yeah. I mean, hey, someone who was also 21 in 2016 when the Sharks won, living in Cronulla, I think I partied like I'd won the grand final as well.
Yeah.
I really appreciate everything that you've shared in this conversation, Val, and I wonder, because we have talked so much about who you were as a kid and your family and whatever, what do you think that, you know, teenage Valentine who just moved here to Cronulla, who had his bags packed before you'd spoken to your brother, what would he think of you now?
Oh, I'm sure he'd be probably very, very proud that I ended up sticking it out. Yeah, otherwise he'd be saying, oh, what an idiot I am to lead it all out there and give up an opportunity that was right in front of me. Literally only took one more year to hold it out, and that's the other thing. Like, yeah, just another thing I'd say is just stick it out. Like, any opportunity that comes, take it with both hands and really see it out until you can't. Because I definitely didn't do that at the start. I probably just try to give up, but yeah, I ended up deciding to stick it out, and it really worked out.
And as you talked about that, a big key to sticking it out has been your support network. And I guess the last thing I want to ask you, or give you the opportunity to do, is tell that support network, whether it's your brother and his wife who moved down here, your own wife who you've been with for so long, or your parents, your sister, like what would you tell them about how they've supported you?
Yeah, I tell my wife almost every day. I wouldn't be just the sacrifice of moving down again, living everything. She has a gym in Townsville that she runs with her sister, and she's had to give that up twice now, and stuff like that. I tell my brother and his wife and their little kids, they got 2 girls, how much they mean to me and our family. So yeah, it's probably the old man I probably need to give a call to and let him know what he's done for me. I'm sure he knows it, but probably just to remind him every now and then is probably he wouldn't say too much about it, but I know it would hit him. So, but yeah, just I guess to be better at, always giving back.
Thank you so much, Valentine Holmes. It's been really good to hear your story.
No worries, thank you.
Thank you so much to Valentine Holmes for taking the time out to sit and share such a beautiful story. His family unit is a really special one and sure to be a big part of the remainder of his NRL career. If you're enjoying the show, make sure you share it with someone and hit subscribe wherever you're listening. In the next episode, we'll hear from Melbourne Storm winger Will Warbrick.
I remember just sitting there just so nervous. I couldn't stop moving. Like my foot was just going wild like that. And then it felt like the right thing to do. And after the night, Jerome actually came up to me and he gave me a big handshake and sort of a embrace, just saying, no, thank you for that.
Yeah.
He really appreciated it. And that sort of just reminded me like, that's what it's about.
You've been watching another production from
Nine's Wide World of Sports.